Abortion and euthanasia treat everyone the same way a factory treats its products. If something is defective, instead of spending money and time to try to fix the problem, the factory would simply discard the faulty device to make way for a better commodity. Imagine if we implemented this in everyday life. If a baby was developing in the womb with a disability, following the example of the factory, the baby would be discarded to make way for a stronger and healthier baby. Well, you no longer have to imagine it. This is the culture in which we live in today. Anybody that is not fit is disposed of and forgotten. Years ago, if we were told this would happen, we would think that there would be cries of injustice. Have you heard any cries, or even so much as a whisper? No. Mainstream media says abortion is a human right, just like food or clean water. You might ask why people seek to do these unethical things to their own kind. The answer is power and privileges. Slave owners regarded Africans as property and not people, so they could enjoy free labor and the money that came from cash crops. Hitler blamed Jews to become the Führer of Germany and to gain all the perks of being treated like a god. Abortionists get money from killing the unborn. Lots and lots of money. In the minds of the powerful, abortion and euthanasia are justified because those who don't produce revenue or don't contribute anything to society are worthless. When we talk about objects or even animals, this idea may be true, but never in respect to human beings. All humans are made in the image of God. We may have an image of what a perfect human being is in our minds, but in the eyes of God, we are perfect. We have infinite value. We have a purpose, no matter who we are, and no matter how society views or values us. Of course, not all who do wrong intend to. For example, the Hitler Youth were brainwashed into thinking Jews were a disease and that they needed to be eradicated. Just like abortion providers, many times feel that they are helping women in crisis pregnancies by eliminating their problem. Many supporters of euthanasia feel that this practice helps end the suffering of the elderly and terminally ill. Such was the case when my mom was suggested by a very well-intended genetic counselor at the hospital to terminate her pregnancy and end my brother's suffering. Jacob was my brother inside the womb. He had a congenital condition where his spine was not developing right. And his organs were not where they were supposed to be. Death was unavoidable, even with modern medicine. The doctors told my parents that they should pull the plug. In other words, they told them to have an abortion and end it there. My mom was almost 40. This was her 8th pregnancy. She had several C-sections, and she had a condition where she could develop a blood clot. This was a risky pregnancy. Why go through such a difficult pregnancy and take shots every day when Planned Parenthood was only a drive away? He's gonna die anyway. There was no point. Why bother? My parents refused. They knew he wasn't going to live, but that didn't stop them. My brother received all the medical care and love he deserved in my mom's belly. He was ill, and he was going to die. But he was valuable, he had a purpose. He was not a disposable object. On August 20th, 2019, Jacob was born, but died the day before, at 19 weeks and 5 days of pregnancy. When he was born, he was as big as 2 hands cupped together. His feet were smaller than a thumb, each with 5 toes. Everyone was given the chance to hold him. Throughout the years, we've had 5 miscarriages. When each baby was mourned at a funeral, it was buried just like any other human being, with infinite value. Never once were they a clump of cells, just a fetus, an embryo, were disposable objects. Their names were Rachel, Pablo, Jacob, and Zelly. They are loved and always will be. In the essay contest guidelines, we are asked to write about who should be more cared about. My answer is the disabled or terminally ill unborn babies who are the perfect target for abortion or euthanasia. We also need a voice because they have none. I care that they are treated with respect like any other human being. That they're not easily able to be discarded because they are inconvenient or because they're going to die anyways. Even though Jacob's life was small, he had an impact on my family that will last for generations. Jacob is the face of all the babies whose lives were taken because they didn't meet the standard of perfection. For me, Jacob is the experience that makes me care for all the disabled babies. He's the reason why I care for all lives, born and unborn, able and disabled. Every and all lives were created in the image of God.